Hey guys, it's Morgan Waters, here to talk to you about my profile piece. And I'm not going to be reading off my computer, so if you can bear with me a little bit, that would be great. So I am going to be doing my paper on Bree Newsome. Bree Newsome is the woman who on Saturday morning scaled the flagpole at the South Carolina State House and took the Confederate flag down. She was arrested immediately when she got to the ground, but she took that flag down. And why I'm really interested in looking at this is seeing a conversation about how we understand Black women's agency playing out in the media in real time. And so I've been reading a lot of articles about what she did and about her history. And, she's being called a hero. She's being called the voice of our generation. My favorite headline in an article about her was titled, "Taking Liberation Without Permission." And I find that really interesting because that has a lot to say about how we understand the agency of people of color, particularly women of color. And what I've found most interesting is the ways that she's being compared to Rosa Parks, being called the new Rosa Parks, the next Rosa Parks, whatever you want to call it, because there's a double-edged sword in that, because we also know that Rosa Parks' story has been watered down to be more palatable to white elementary school students. We don't know, we've never been told that Rosa Parks was a radical, that Rosa Parks was involved with the NAACP for a long time. Her story that we're told is a woman who, after a long day of work just didn't want to give up her seat on the bus. And we have this narrative of women, particularly women of color, when they are on the forefront of social change. We have this narrative that they have no idea what they're doing, that this is so much bigger than them, and they have no concept of it. So really that agency piece, again, and how that played out in Rosa Parks' story is we've stripped her of her agency in the conversations we have. Rosa Parks is not her own actor. She's being acted upon. And that's why I'm really interested in looking at Bree Newsome's story, because we're seeing some shifts there. And I'm going to be looking at the way her story and the way it's being told is challenging how we think about women of color and women of color on the front lines of social change, because we also have this long history of women, particularly women of color, placing their bodies on the line, being right on the front lines, doing whatever is necessary. And so that's kind of why I really want to look into the media coverage of Bree Newsome, the way she's being talked about, and the way her story is being told, especially in an age where she's able to tell her own story. So the artifacts I'm going to be using are, we'll see, because the articles are still coming out, and over the next week there should be a lot more to pull from, and a lot more not just reporting on Newsome's history as an activist and an organizer and what she did, but there will be more commentary around it, which I think is really the interesting part. But also that does create an obstacle. This is playing out real time. We don't have the benefit of hindsight to put this into one collective narrative. So that will be a little bit tricky, but I think it'll also be great to be able to see this develop in real time. And the pieces from class that I'm mainly going to be focusing on are Roxane Gay's discussions of representation in media and how representation of women as activists in media kind of complicates what Gay is trying to talk about. And also, my main focus is going to be Audre Lorde's The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House, because following that taking liberation without permission, what Newsome is doing is not assimilating, not asking, not waiting, but taking.